afternoon, one and all. And thank you once again for making the time for today's Leveraging Your Technology webinar. This is another in our ongoing series of complimentary education webinars that we regularly provide free of charge for both clients and non-clients alike. Look out for others. We aim to produce and present about one a month. This is our first for 2021, and we'll be bringing you more in the coming months. For those that don't know me, my name is Jim Bell. I'm the director of JBA. As always, I'm keen to get this information out to you as soon as I can. And with my other team members usually doing some other urgent work for clients, I've decided to present this and future webinars without support, without moderator support, that is. So please bear with me if things go astray. Hopefully there'll be a time for questions at the end of the webinar. If for some reason I can't get to them, please send me any by email after the webinar and I'll get back to you. For those who are unfamiliar with the webinar environment, these are the Zoom settings. So let's take a look at the webinar controls. Firstly, though, could somebody please raise the hand so that I can see or become aware that you can all hear me? Thank you, guys. Now, select audio settings to select and test your speakers. Submit questions via the Q&A button, and I'll try and answer these at the end of the webinar. And click leave meeting if you need to leave at any time. All attendees will receive a follow-up email after the webinar, perhaps tomorrow, and we'd love your feedback whether or not you left early. Thought of the day. Efficiency is doing better what is already being done. Peter Drucker. Many of you are by now aware that our core purpose at JBA is for us to help our clients achieve their business potential so that they can live the lifestyle that they want to. That includes not only offering clients an efficient compliance service, like reducing taxes and getting tax returns filed on time, but also offering tried and proven strategies to improve your time management, business efficiencies, and ultimately your businesses as a whole. These regular complimentary educational webinar offerings are part of those strategies. Efficiency is doing better what is already being done. There are so many processes and systems in your businesses. Some of these may already be systemized, others may be manual processes. By leveraging the technology available, you'll increase your efficiency and save time and stress, and ultimately make more money. Before we get stuck in, I just want to throw in our usual disclaimer that the information in this educational webinar is general in nature and no substitute for tailored advice specific to your own circumstances. Every business is different, even within the same market segment. The way you can work is quite different to others in your industry. During the course of my presentation, I'd encourage you to take notes. One of the biggest problems in small businesses is FTI, or failure to implement. I know I say this at every webinar, but it's so true. If you don't write your actions down, you won't remember them. Taking notes makes sure some of the really important things aren't lost. If you're anything like me, I have good intentions of remembering things, only to realize I can't remember them later. I've learned the hard way. As with all our webinars, the video of the presentation will be uploaded to our website and our YouTube page in the next day or so. We can also supply copies of the slides to you by email after the webinar. Just email me or Josh if you want them sent to you. Now, have you ever spent hours researching potential new technology or an app, downloaded it and started working with it, only to find it has a major process missing that you need? Do you perhaps have two apps that you wish could talk to each other to save you double handling? It's likely there's an app out there that meets your needs and syncs with other apps you use. The webinar today will provide you some insights from our experience with business processes and apps in various types of business. We'll kick off with a look at the key benefits of systemization. Then we'll briefly overview what makes up an app stack and why this is so important to your business. Then we're going to delve into specific industry processes to give you something to work off. And then we'll run through a recommended process to help you choose and implement apps, and finally some resources to help with your next steps. So, what are the benefits of better systemization? In my view, they are perfectly captured in what we refer to as the 3 S's. Every business needs all of these. Sustainability means the business can operate without heavy reliance on owners. Scalability means that the systems and procedures that are in place will allow the business to grow without the wheels falling off. How would your business systems cope, for example, if turnover doubled? Saleability is, as you'd expect, the business needs to be attractive for a future buyer. Having great systems and less reliance on owners increases the value of your business. Of course, there are many benefits of systemization, such as efficiency, consistency, quality, ease of training, cost savings, but in reality, they all fall into these 3 main areas. At JBA, we often refer to the technology systems you use as an app stack. This is what we're talking about today, how to enhance your 3 S's using technology, or more specifically, using your app stack. Well, what is your app stack? Okay, let's put a frame of reference around today's webinar. What are the 4 components of your app stack? Firstly, you have all your existing apps, pre-built or custom-built systems, and even the glorious old spreadsheets with some complex formulas, tables, and interconnectivity. So all of these software tools are in the business. They currently exist. Number 2, how the information is passed between the systems is also part of the stack. Integration saves you time and reduces errors, and it avoids the need for double entry. For example, does your website contact us page generate a client in your customer database or CRM? Do proposals or quotes flow to your invoicing and job management systems? How do you reconcile online credit card payments? These are all parts of the integration process. And this is an important point. Most apps will tell you who they integrate with, but not much detail of how they integrate. For example, does your point of sale system send individual transactions or just a daily lump sum to your accounting system? Can your computer system handle retainer invoicing? The third piece of the stack puzzle is the platform the apps or systems are run on. Do you have in-house equipment run on an outsourced service, or are you using the cloud? For those that think the cloud sounds like a foreign language, what I'm referring to is the benefit of having access to the systems you use and the software you use from anywhere. For example, the ability to code your bank transactions while on a train, although we'd hope to have time to enjoy the view out of the window. The final critical piece is how you back up your data and ensure customer information and business interactions are secure. The global pandemic has taught us many things, one of which is how important it is to keep your data safe and accessible from location to location, and indeed from any location. Indeed, I am presenting this webinar from my home in Auckland's 3rd lockdown. There's also strict privacy legislation being introduced around the world, so make sure your technology complies with this. Why is your app stack worthy of all this attention? First of all, systems and processes are essential for growth. As your business grows, bottlenecks appear. Technology and improved systems can help reduce these bottlenecks. High growth businesses must have systems in place to handle the growth predicted in their marketing and business plans. For example, the increase in customers, projects, or sales volumes. Manual systems just won't cut the mustard. Like I said before, if turnover were to double in a short time, could your system cope with the added volume and pressure? Your technology stack has a direct impact on profitability. A bad stack can reduce your profitability by such things as costing you sales due to lack of sales process tools, or costing you profit or sales margin due to inaccurate costings, or increasing your costs due to wasted time, tasks being done in the wrong order, inability to manage due to lack of processes, or the old double entry of information. Good data is critical to make good business decisions. Your systems need to provide you with accurate and timely data so you can make good business decisions, like whether projects are profitable or if a specific project is making you money or costing you money. The more up to date and accurate this data is, the better your decisions will be. Hence, the high level of project offerings we have at JBA for such things as monthly management accounting. Your technology stack can help increase team efficiency and can help increase customer satisfaction. Having documented processes and systems that work are essential to ensure your business is efficient, that you have a happy team environment and happy customers. And finally, technology provides a greater ability to work. The right tools will help you and your team work where and when they need to, on site, in the office, remotely, as I am, wherever in fact they or you need to be. The productivity pyramid shows how we can get better leverage from our business, how we can work smarter and not harder. Step one of the pyramid is about getting better at what you're doing, about undertaking training, studying, continuing professional development, that sort of thing. Getting better at utilizing the technology you already have in your business is important at this stage. Step two is increasing the number of people doing the work in your business, either by employing or contracting new people to help you free up more time to move up the pyramid. Remember, your team will need to know how to use existing technology and current systems before any new ones are implemented. Step three is to then invest in better systems to increase efficiency. It's all part of the productivity pyramid. For example, systems to automate booking appointments, providing reminders to customers, or creating invoices as soon as your quotes have been accepted. This is what we're talking about today, the technology you could adapt to increase your efficiency. But first, everyone on your team must already be using your existing systems and your existing technology well, so that they can be involved in finding better ways of working. Step four is to invent your own systems or technology which suit your particular business. This could be improving the way your technology integrates. For example, you might already have Xero accounting software, but you want to integrate it with a time management or stock management system. You can effectively invent the way those systems talk to each other in a way that gives you the information you need and in the most efficient and accurate way. Now, I've just had a message that my audio is fading in and out. I'll try and speak louder and clearer in the hope that you can indeed hear me better than perhaps you are at the moment. Step five is all about innovation, where you receive the highest possible return with the lowest time investment. At this stage, you might even consider throwing out a number of the systems you're currently using in favor of one that avoids the need for complex integrations. I'm a firm believer in not having too many systems talking to each other. If you use a Rolls Royce when a Mini Minor will do, there's so much more to go wrong with the Rolls Royce. An example might be to invest in more expensive technology solutions that give you a far better information and a better return, An example of this, in simple terms, of this innovation is a number of businesses who, in recent years, have thrown away their old cash book systems and adopted Xero accounting software. So the key issues. So now you know you need a good app stack. You may already have a sort of app stack and it may be ripe for improvement. And in fact, most businesses are probably at this point in their business lives. How do you choose the right apps for your business? Working out where to start can be difficult. There are so many apps with so many different functions. Deciding what to try first can be overwhelming. Consider what issues you're facing in your business. Do you currently have a system, a process, or technology which is being underutilized and could resolve the issue if it were being used to the best of its capability? For some issues, perhaps training is what's needed, not, in fact, new technology. When you've prioritized the issues in your business, which you don't currently have a solution for, it's time to undertake research on the most suitable technology. Finding out what apps are available, reviewing them, and comparing them can suck up hours of time that could be better spent on growing your business or looking after your customers. Xero alone has over 800 apps in their marketplace that interface with it. There are thousands and thousands of apps globally. How do you make sure the apps you choose deliver the functionality you need? It's actually harder to find out what an app doesn't do than what it does do. And just when you think you might have found the right app, a new app might appear in the marketplace which could be better. Available apps are changing daily with new apps, new functionality, or buyouts. For example, QuickBooks purchased the inventory of the management app TradeGecko, and Xero purchased the invoice lending app Waddle. Staying up to date with all these changes is time consuming, but needs to happen regularly to ensure you stay ahead of the competition and keep improving your business. Working with somebody who knows what they're doing, and that isn't us in terms of selling software, is vital. That said, working directly with an app supplier can carry risk, as some of them have their whole drive being to sell you their product, not finding the best product for your needs. So as always, it's important to be careful who you work with. So what are some of the systems or processes that are in your business that could be systemized with an Apple technology? Let's take a look at some systems in different industries. The next few slides will help you see that there is not a one-size-fits-all solution here. Careful planning is essential, as opposed to jumping on the bandwagon of the shiny new app that you're hearing about on social media. It simply might not be right for you. If you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A box as we go through these industry-specific systems, and I'll try and get to them at the end of the webinar. Hospitality. Some of the typical process needs of a hospitality business may be: what point of sale system is being used? How does it connect to your accounting system? And how does reconciliation work? Does the business take online bookings as well as phone bookings? Do you confirm bookings back to the customer? Employee scheduling, timekeeping, and payroll is a basic essential. Do you process vouchers? How do you track these as giveaways or purchased vouchers? Are you running a loyalty program and need to keep track of spend? Do you provide discounts for loyalty? Are you marketing to customers or prospecting for new business? Do you keep email addresses and send notices, incentives, and rewards to people? Do you track where leads and bookings are coming from? What is your marketing plan, and what systems and processes do you need to support this? Do you run multiple outlets or a side business like a food truck? How do you keep revenue and expenses separate for reporting of those businesses or parts of your business? What information do you need to make business decisions? For example, daily, weekly, monthly analysis, cost, gross profit analysis, headcount versus revenue, bar versus restaurant versus food truck, etc. All these pieces of information are critical to the running of your business. Without getting bogged down in too much detail of them, the more the better. Retail and wholesale. Some of the typical processes needed of a retail or wholesale business may include: what channels are you selling through? Online, brick and mortar, business to business, or pop-up retail outlets? Do you manufacture products from raw materials or from sub-products? How do you purchase from suppliers? How do you forecast demand to calculate when and how much to order? How many products do you sell? Do you drop ship or run your own warehouse? Do you sell internationally? Do you have product variants? Are the products barcoded for scanning? How is shipping integrated? Multiple shipping agents? Is freight on charged? How do you reconcile freight charges? Inwards and outwards freight? Once again, where is your customer database? How do you market to them? How do you track sales for loyalty discounts? How will your business run if you lose a terminal or a printer? Do you carry spares or have a service contract with the point of sale supplier? So you can see already that different business sectors have completely different requirements, with of course such things as payrolls overlapping, but even with payrolls there are different requirements within the reporting that is needed. Building construction. Some of the typical processes needed of a building and construction business. Well, quoting is always a major process. Marking up plans, quantity surveying, maintaining supplier price lists, labour rates, that sort of thing. And there are still a large number of businesses that use a well-tested spreadsheet to help in this process. Perhaps there's an app out there, but I'm sure there would be, that would improve that particular part of the business. Are your quotes then automated into a job or project with automated billing? How do you manage project scheduling and staff availability when making commitments to customers? How do the staff enter timesheets and additional purchases? How are these included in the project profitability reporting and its billing? Do you capture photos or videos on site? This can be helpful for relaying instructions to the team, having discussions with a customer, reporting issues to suppliers. How are these stored against the job or supplier for tracking? And the age-old one, how are variations managed? Can you vary quotes on site with customer sign-off? How do you record health and safety and reporting outcomes and reporting performances in toolbox meetings and management reporting? How do you handle retentions or deposits so you can predict future cash flows accurately? So you see, just like all the other business sectors, building and construction has its own particular needs. Tradies, service companies. Tradies and service companies can be small job focused as well as focused on new major builds or projects. Job management is much different to project management. Again, quoting systems or online booking systems and processes are needed. How do you schedule that work, monitor for completion, and deal with delays or variations? How do you track and make sure you get paid? Do you need on-site billing and payment facilities on a mobile device? If so, what type of device? It's not uncommon these days for glaziers to, from home, we've actually had repairmen in our kitchen, repairing stove, do the work and pull out a remote point of sale system and expect to be paid there and then. Some apps may only work on iOS or Android, but not both. How does this integrate with your accounting system? Do you take deposits for jobs? How do you manage these deposits? How does the team enter their timesheets and expenses? How do you manage parts and stock within vehicles and within the warehouse? How often do you stock take these? Again, the health and safety, as in the building and construction. How do you integrate health and safety in the process for on-site staff to save time and improve customer experience? Again, photo evidence and documentation needs to be stored against the job of the customer. So there's a little bit of overlap between perhaps tradies and services and the building construction, but like all of the industries, there is some overlap and some things particular and unique to them. Professional services. How do you store your customer data? How do you track where leads come from against marketing spend? Do you have a sales process to convert leads to a customer? And is that automated to any degree? Even just something as simple as giving task reminders to staff to follow up. How are your quotes or estimates structured? Are they on an automatic system with electronic acceptance and integration to your project management invoicing system? Some of you will be aware that at JBA, we send some of our business betterment services, our project work, for when we work closely beside a client to improve their businesses and spend time getting to know their business to a large and greater degree. We send electronic documentation with electronic sign-off and that sort of thing. What other project and job management tools do you need to check on professional service jobs? Have issues escalated? Have managed resource allocations and bottlenecks been dealt with? Are tasks automatically assigned to the team in their to-do lists? Can the team enter their time and expenses directly into the project management system to track profitability and staff performance and any other management reporting needs? Again, a little bit similar to the other business types that we've talked about moments ago. Do you have automated invoice reminders and data follow-up? As I say, there's plenty for all of our businesses to improve, and technology is changing so quickly that we need to keep up to date to improve those efficiencies. So we know why we need good systems and processes: efficiency, cost management, staff management, customer experience, good business decisions, etc., 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 etc. We also know it's a complex problem. Which app does it do everything we need? How does it integrate to our other systems? We can also now identify some of the unique needs of your business and how you operate. So, how do we go about implementing new technology or apps and improving your business processes? Well, we do it with a process, of course, and this process is legitimate, or as legitimate, for smaller businesses as it is for bigger businesses. It's just the volume or the content that changes. The approach is the same in either case. So there's no excuse for somebody to say my business is too small, or no, I don't really need that. It's an approach-based type philosophy. There are 5 phases in the process to develop your technology or app stack. Number 1 is to start with a scope and business case study to identify the why, who, and what. Number 2 is to map out all your existing business processes. If you use a cloud firm, they will have some sort of cheat sheet for that. So clients can spend some time with their integrator firm and make this, what is normally a relatively painful exercise, a less painful one. But again, be careful with those people that are trying to sell you just their own product. Point 3 is to determine your options and select your app stack and integration design. Number 4 is to train, test, trial, and implement. And number 5 is to review the success and ensure you have ongoing support. So let's have a look at those processes in a little bit more detail. Why do we scope the business case? Well, firstly, we can make sure that everyone is on the same page about the overall project and that we have clear objectives and measurements for the outcomes. If we define what success looks like right up front, we'll know at the end of the exercise whether we've been successful or not. It also clarifies why we're doing this. What's the return on our investment? What is the business case? Will completing the project save time and money, make more money, or is it just the need for regulatory compliance? Scoping is also to ensure everyone gets involved up front. Users, suppliers, customers, partners, including us as your accountant / business betterment coach. This means everyone's issues get into the melting pot from the start and will minimize any resistance to change or lack of adoption when the implementation phase occurs. All the inputs and outputs, any risks or assumptions, specifics, inclusions or exclusions, anything we're not prepared to compromise on is recorded at the beginning. And finally, it puts a time frame around the project. Once we have the business case, the what we want fully scoped, we then put on our business analyst hat. Our business analysis hat. How do the processes work? What happens? Who makes decisions? Who does what bit, and where are the checkpoints? Again, mapping out the business process is a great chance for everyone to have their say, and also a chance to identify bottlenecks, time wastage, lack of quality, lack of accuracy, that sort of thing, that can be addressed in the next phase of the project. It really gets you to look at the nitty-gritty of the systems and processes you have, some needing to be changed, some wanting to be changed, others not needing nor wanting to be changed. As an output, all processes should be documented via a simple flowchart, a Word doc, or even a quick video if that will help. Just some form of documentation that we can follow so that we know what happens in detail in your business. These processes will form the basis of the final process documentation for the business. As we talked about before, this is essential to manage staff, to train new staff, and to handle growth. We've got to know what the business is doing and how it does it. App stack design. Once you've defined all your processes, you can then start looking at what apps fit. This is where an app specialist can really help. And I do come back to the point of being careful that they're not just selling you their product. But nevertheless, each app will have specific functions that they do or don't do. These must be matched to your needs. For example, are you needing job management or detailed larger project management? How do you link up proposals, invoicing, time and cost, inventory, and financial management? How does each app integrate? How will it all fit together? How do you pay for the app? Number of users, volume of transactions. There's all various ways of having to be billed by the software companies for these apps. Does it fit with what you've got in your budget? How does the app look and feel to you? What is the background of the developer? What is their support like? What is their ongoing development program? And does that fit your goals? You don't want to buy an app that is going to fairly quickly be redundant without having anything to either upgrade it or replace it. That's just short-sighted. And apps and software, as we all know, are changing at an alarming pace. Demo the final shortlist. Maybe run a trial to test it out to ensure that it does indeed fit your specific needs. Use a prepared evaluation sheet that works for you. Price versus functionality versus ease of use versus local product versus overseas product. I mean, at the moment with the border controls, getting things from overseas is a nightmare. So a local product would be much more usable, user-friendly. Do you have user groups locally, and what's the development program? Evaluate these with your most important criteria up top and least important criteria at the bottom. So you sort of weight what is more important to you and what is less, again, pointing in the direction of a decision to be made once all the information is in place. Based on the results of the evaluation, you can then define your app stack, work out how to train everyone and implement the new tool or tools, and finalize the last stage of the project budget. And finally, we get to implement your app stack. But don't forget to back up your old system first. I know teaching you to suck eggs. You never know, there may be a need to start again back at that clean point. And this is the bit many people miss, make sure your backups are readable. True story, we once had a client who regularly backed up his company's computer systems, but never tested the backups. You guessed it, when his system fried and he came to download the backups to his new system, the backup files were all corrupted and couldn't be read. He had a hell of a lengthy, complex and expensive mess. In fact, it nearly put his business under. It is a real, true to life shocker story, this one. So please back up and check that the backups work. And with your new app stack, complete any testing, trials, or parallel runs. Update your process documentation or flowcharts to reflect the new processes. As always, all systems should be, and we touched on it earlier in the webinar, recorded and documented so that new employees, current employees, possible review for improvement. It's all there in black and white, not just he knows it in his head. It's actually in black and white so that he who has it in his head, if he gets run over on the weekend, others can still find the information should they need to. Use these documents and flowcharts to train the team and update job descriptions. Perform any data migration and cleansing. Cleaning the data you've got. Some systems have got incorrect data in them already. That would need to be tidied up, or best be advised to be tidied up and cleaned up before migrated to the new software system. At that stage then, go live, either phasing things in or a full stop changeover. Always being aware though, that if it screws up, we do have that backup that's been tested to come back to. Once completed, like any project, it's ideal to review what happened and measure your success against what was agreed in the initial project scope that I spoke about probably 10 minutes, quarter of an hour ago. Did we meet the business case? Are all our specific needs catered for? Is the team happy? Are the customers happy? Take on any learnings and implement actions to resolve or learn for your next review. Like most things in business, and particularly given the fact that software is improving at such an alarming rate, this is in fact an ongoing cycle. It isn't really a one-off. Perhaps a big project of putting new software in initially is a one-off, but generally speaking, the review and the implement and the learnings is all part of the cycle of your business life. Are all the integrations and reconciliations working as expected? Do you have checkpoints to ensure quality and accuracy? Do you, your current team, or any new team members need follow-up training? Consider splitting training of monthly functions from daily functions to ease the brain overload. Finally, set a time for the next review and a mechanism to track ongoing team ideas to consider in that review. Your team, the people who tend to use this stuff most, are the ones that usually have the best ideas. A formal review should be completed at least annually to keep up with change. A review will also be essential for any major business decisions that affect your business structure, processes, volume, and staffing. While these steps may seem daunting, they're not really quite so in practice. Like I said earlier, the steps are legitimate whether the business is small or large. It's just how they are carried out and with what content that changes. Smaller businesses, while they do have these boxes to tick, for want of a better word, the aspects of doing them can be a lot more straightforward than much larger businesses with lots more personnel involved and lots more complex software. As you can see, systemizing your business to increase efficiency and return is a somewhat involved process. In fact, for some, it can be a very involved process. However, the benefits to be gained are potentially massive too. For example, if you could improve your overall efficiency and lift your return by just 1% when your turnover is $500,000 per year, that's an equivalent of an extra $5,000 of profit every year, year on year. Obviously, then 4 years, 20 grand. Of course, you'll be looking to gain more than 1%. I mean, that's peanuts. But the fact that you're gaining is where the benefit of these system improvements comes to fruition. Likewise, what could you do if your new systemization freed up to 5 hours of your and your team's time every week? Would that 5 hours be able to be sold? So you're making super profit on that time? What would your life be like? It's sometimes not all about dollars and cents. Wouldn't it be good to be able to do a 40-hour week for the same income as doing a 45-hour week? What if you could reduce errors and mistakes using better automation? Less reworking of things. How much stress would then be reduced in your life? So the aim of this webinar really is to help you see the benefit of taking a strategic and planned approach to systemizing your business. We want you to get the benefits of a better return, greater efficiency, reduced risk of errors. In fact, the 3 freedoms we often talk about. Time, financial, and sleepability, mind freedom. Time freedom, mind freedom, financial freedom. So what are your next steps from here? Well, as we always say, doing nothing really is not an option. Doing what you have always done is unlikely now to give you the same results as you've always had in the past, especially in this COVID world. People are still anxious, and it'll only take a few more, or even one decent border break for our current level 3 lockdown to turn to level 4, or we may even be in level 3 for more time. Now, hoping that by the time we finish this webinar, we'll find that we're not in level 3 in Auckland any longer. But it will only take one decent border break for the wheels to come off, and we're going back as we were. And I hope it never happens like last April. Remember, we want you to have an improved return, more free time, less stress. Doing nothing won't achieve that. Remember to put the oxygen mask on yourself first. Planning for sustainable improvement starts with you and the leaders in your business. Make a clear plan, but don't jump at those bright, shiny objects, the latest new piece of tech you've heard about. Look into it carefully. Is it really going to give me a better result than what I'm currently doing or what I'm currently using at the moment? Sometimes yes, and sometimes no. Focus on what you can do as opposed to worrying about what is out of your control. And as always, we're here to help you. How can we help you? As I mentioned at the beginning of this webinar, the information in this educational webinar is general in nature and there is no substitute for specific, tailored advice and support. There are several ways that we can help you more specifically beyond today's webinar. We would love to help you make a better plan with your systemization, but we're not here to sell you technology or apps. We don't do that. That's not our business, nor do we have any to sell anyway. On the contrary, we want you to step back and define what it is that you really want from technology in your business. For example, do you just want to get better at using the technology you already have? Or do you want to assess whether there are better options out there to increase your efficiency? Stepping back is all about making a better plan, scoping what you really want from technology first. In other words, the step one we talked about earlier, as opposed to jumping to step 4, which is implementation, by scoping the work first, you can then start to involve the right technology experts to help map out your processes, review or build the app stack, and implement the right solution. Liken this to the planning stage of building a house. Work out what you want first, what your budget is, and what you're looking to achieve before you start talking to the builder. Now, if you're not quite ready to commit to a paid service with us, understand, that's fine, no problem. We can still send you an AppStack project worksheet free of charge, which we know will help make a plan for building your app stack. Just let us know and we'll send it to you. If then required, we can meet thereafter with you to review your worksheet to ensure you've scoped all your projects and have a realistic plan for building and implementing your app stack. Or if you know you need help with the whole process, from planning to implementation and review, you might be interested in our full support scoping service. And if you're completely unsure where to start, we can meet for a complimentary meeting to establish your goals for your business. As always, we're here to give you options so you can find the one that suits you best. There is no one size fits all. Just a reminder that if you have to go early, please complete the webinar feedback once you get our email in the next day or so. Just checking for questions. I've either put you all to sleep or you've all got it all under control because there aren't any questions. I hope the second rather than the first. Parting thought for the day. Before we go, I thought I'd share this quote with you from the legendary Bill Gates. Software is the magic thing whose importance only goes up over time. For those geriatrics like me, who would have thought 30 years ago that we would have the reliance on technology that we have today? My children have grown up in the era of cell phones being normal. They have no idea what dial-up phones were. And it's changing faster and faster as the days, months, years go by. Make a simple plan today. Commit to at least 3 actions you will take as a result of today's webinar. Write them down. Give each of them an owner and a completion date. Remember, if you need our support, we are here for you. Finally, thanks for making the time to attend this webinar. We appreciate that your time is very valuable. Probably tomorrow you should receive a follow-up email from us that we'd love you to provide feedback on, so that we can continuously improve and get an understanding on what other webinar topics you'd like to see from us in the future. We can only improve our support of you if we know what you want as well as what we think you need. Today though, I hope we've given you plenty of ideas to ponder and some clear next steps for you and your business. We want you to achieve the goal you set yourself, be it more money or to get more time freedom or to become less stressed, or all three. So you can get closer to living the life you want to. Remember, our core purpose at JBA is to help our clients achieve their business potential so they can live the lifestyle they want to. Keep a lookout for our ongoing series of complimentary webinars. As I said at the beginning of this webinar, we will loosely aim to produce about one a month. There are plenty of places to register for them, from our direct email advertising, from the footer on all our standard emails, from our Facebook page, from our Twitter page, and from our website. For our direct email mailouts, we use MailChimp these days, and sometimes these MailChimp emails go into spam folders, or for those people with Gmail addresses, into their promotions inboxes. So regularly look into these folders for our mailouts, as they may have gone there. And please also feel free to invite others to our webinars who you think may benefit from our presentations. You can on-send the email invitations or the links for registration, or you can direct them directly to our website, Twitter, or Facebook page. Our webinars are for clients and non-clients alike. The more the merrier. But for now, guys, that's me done. I'm hoping that when we all get to our televisions and radios, that we won't be in level 3 any longer in Auckland, and the rest of the country won't be in level 2. Fingers crossed. We'll know shortly. Have a great evening for now, and I will speak to many of you again soon. Bye for now, everybody.